Shalom. Allah start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, brethren, and great millstone. Salutations to the Ophelet. This pushing is truth across the four corners of the earth, our faith, truth, and sincerity. I'm one about back again, sitting. This we're going to about bread and circus. There's no going about knowing these times right now that we in. You're gonna see a lot of more entertainment being pushed, out there, like, these concerts and sports and entertainment, right? Just entertainment being pushed more. But that's gonna be because, like I say, these so-called white people, Esau, my devils, they don't, they want to keep people asleep and keep them, entertained, keep them, like I say, asleep, keep them, not too fully revolt, So they're gonna push entertainment out there amongst the people to try to keep them not to revolt, to try to, keep them somewhat satisfied, try to keep them numb, but it's gonna come a point where, people just gonna be like, forget all that, and they're gonna revolt. They're gonna revolt when things start this, things just, get to, the cost of living just gets too much. It just gets out of control, and so forth. But but that's what they, these so-called white people, Esau, my devils, is what they, using, to keep people from, revolting or coming against the government and so forth. Bread and circus. This food and entertainment. But I'm getting to it. It says, bread and circus is a Roman phrase coined by these if I'm saying, hopefully I'm saying this right, by this satirist Juvenal to describe the political strategy of gaining power by keeping the populace complacent through. Let me make sure, is that complacent? I think I might be right, but I don't make sure I pronounce that right. Complacent. Yeah, that's right. Complacent. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's go into the word complacent. It says a smug, self-satisfied state of being unconcerned with potential dangers, deficiencies, or the need for improvement, often leading to laziness or ignored risk. Signs include resting on past success, ignoring warning signs, and resisting change. It can be overcome through self-awareness, setting new goals, and maintaining a proactive mindset. Let's see. It said unwarranted satisfaction, overly pleased with their current situation, even if it is unstable. Excuse me. And that's what that's what it is, right? Like I said, the bread and circus this what the Edomite devil, so-called white people, Esau. This is what these so-called white people, the red devil Edomites. Which are the Edomites? They're red. These so-called white people, they really red. They're the Edomites, red devils, right? That's what they do, man. They're using this bread and circus. They're using this food. They definitely promote food on the TV. They promote food on social media. For you to be to what I say, to get to buy, to indulge in, to satisfy your flesh, The entertainment as well to satisfy your flesh and to get your mind off what's going on around you. To get your mind off, hey, the impending doom that's coming to America, Babylon the Great, the situation that's going on in Iran and so forth. To have your mind go from you probably was paying attention or you probably was, uh, you probably was, watching and researching and so forth, see what's going on with the situation in Iran and so forth. The Epstein files, all that. But now, like I said, they'll push that bread of circus and the entertainment on you, entertainment on you, and then like I said, Trump with his lies and say everything's okay, with everything, with Iran situation is not that bad or whatever lies he'll say to keep you like, okay, well, not that bad, and then the entertainment, the food entertainment they push out there on you on the internet, social media, whatever it may be, it'll take your mind off for what's going on in Iran or whatever it may be in America, Babylon the Great. The situation is going on here in America, Babylon the Great, with the high costs of living and so forth. And you might think, oh, it'll get better or whatever it may be, but it's not. There's nothing. What's coming to America, Babylon the Great, is nothing but a whole bunch of death and destruction, man. And it's gonna get to a point where, hey, like I said, a major cyber attack can happen. The power can go out, but people not paying attention, or they not taking heed, especially not taking heed to the apostles and the elders of brother great Mr. to teach the word of the Lord, or the word of the Lord, how about Shah's word, telling you, about the impending doom of America, Babylon, about the impending doom of America, Babylon the Great, and what's ahead, not taking it seriously, because you have folks, hey, they'll just, hey, go back to be entertained, their bread and circus, But so I'm gonna go back to let's go back to that. So I'm gonna read it again. A Roman phrase, bread and circus, is a Roman phrase coined by the satirist Juvenal to describe the political strategy of gaining power by keeping the populace complacent through food, subsidize, and entertainment. Like I say, this food entertainment, they did in time in Rome, with the Colosseum and the gladiators, entertainment, in modern day gladiators, and Colosseums, all that, or NFL stadiums, basketball, NBA, baseball, and all forms of entertainment, concert music, and this food, this food is GMO food, right? This food that we eat, people are eating, indulging in, and really ain't that good. It ain't good for you for real, because what they putting in it, they putting all these chemicals and stuff in the food, making you docile, sick, having you, to make you, lazy. I just went into that word with complacent, to make you lazy and to make you not, not, like I said, not try to revolt, not try to, come up against the government, But it's gonna come a point where that's gonna happen. There's gonna be a revolt. A major revolt is gonna happen. People gonna stand up and they're gonna have enough. But right now, you got this bread and circus where people just not aware of what's about to happen, or what's about to come to America, Babylon the Great. How bad it's gonna get. But by the time they figured it out or notice, it's too late. It's all hell breaking loose in America. It's just gonna get crazy out here than it is right now. You got people out here, they doing whatever, robbing banks. You got the situation in Philadelphia, robbing whatever. It's gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? People doing what they gotta do to survive. It's gonna get chaotic out here. And like I said, the people that's not paying attention, they're still, like I say, they want to be entertained and go to these concerts and so forth like that. They're gonna be cut off guard, man. And I say most of these women out here, man, That's they love to be they don't want to have fun. They don't like to be. They can't be bored for long. They want some form of entertainment. They want to have fun and this and that, right? You know, men, you have men too, but if you're if you're a man of understanding, especially the word lawyer, how Shah, you're gonna be more locked in what's going on around you, what's going on with the prophecies of the Bible. You're not gonna be worried about the things of this world, that don't matter. As far like this entertainment and shit like that, that because that just distraction to what needs to be what's focused to be be need to focus on. What's more important is to know what's going on with these prophecies and the word of the Lord, in these times. And me myself for foremost not be caught up, in the things of this world, because it's this stuff, and it's temporal, man. It's like I say, it's BS, man. But I'm gonna go from there. Let's see. It's some good stuff. Summary said the historical context in ancient Rome. The bread refers to the adenoia. Hopefully I'm saying it right. The free grain ration and later bread provided to poor Roman citizens to prevent starvation and unrest. The circus refers to lavish entertainment, specifically chariot races at the Circus Maximus and gladiatorial games in the Colosseum, funded by the state. Like I just said, modern day, that was in Rome, but modern day, this is Rome to America, which is Babylon the Great. Rome 2.0 is what modern day. The games are entertainment is NFL, right? NFL, NBA, baseball, stuff like that. Hockey and all that. And I said concerts, music, and so forth. To keep people entertained, and the food, right? To keep you, like I say, docile, sleep, to keep you, Lord, keep your senses of, what's going on, keep it low, your vibration low, low vibration. Like I said, there's low vibrational music too, and so forth, man, to keep people vibrations low and not high, having a high vibration of alertness of what's going on, having like, your antennas knowing what's going around you and so forth, it keep people, like I say, just in that low vibration and keeping them sleep, keep them, and keep them distracted, why these so-called white people, East Side white devils, they push out these laws, take away your laws and, take away your rights, excuse me, and so forth. You don't even know it, they doing that. And also with the situation going on in Iran, Trump come on the goddamn news or whatever on Twitter, or maybe he say everything's okay or whatever, he keep pushing back the ceasefire situation, but knowing that, hey, what's ahead is not good coming to America, Babylon the Great, The more this keeps going on with the situation in Iran, with Trump, the worse it's going to get, But like I said, folks going to be, hey, they're going to be distracted by the bread and circus, by the entertainment and the food. Until, hey, that day come where, all hell breaks loose in America, Babylon Great, I say, a situation where, the cyber attack, the power goes out, or, a situation like that, it could happen, so folks gonna be caught off guard. That guard gonna be let down, not paying attention, but not everybody. Because like I said, the apostles and the elders and the brother Grand Millstone that had this truth of the word of Lord Yahweh Bashar Shai is going to be, in the spirit of Lord Yahweh and understand what's going around them. Paying attention what's going on within the news or, so forth, what's going on around them. And they where they and the way they stay, just paying attention to the things that's around you and not ignoring it, you know, not being careless, especially in these times, being, self-awareness, spiritually and aware and understanding the times that you're in. Me, myself, first almost, but a lot of people they don't know the times, they don't understand the times they're in. They think, just going to keep on just hoping that America get better, things get better, and, they want to keep partying and bullshitting, But that's coming to an end, man. And it's going to come to a horrific, end, That's what's coming to America, Babylon the Great, a horrific judgments by the Lord Yahweh Shai, But let's see. There's some more on this. I just want to kind of just touch on points of that. But I'm gonna get some scriptures to back this up. It's Ephesians 6:11. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, that ye may be able to stand. That you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So put on the whole armor of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, which is this truth, this word, right? You gotta have this knowledge and wisdom of the Lord Yahweh Shai fully equipped on you. You can't miss nothing within your armor, right? The spiritual armor, right? Having your spiritual, antennas and everything, armor completely on you, and being in tune in the spirit of Lord Yahweh Shai, in these times what's going on, and not, fall asleep, not falling asleep in this darkness, in this darkness and in these times, these so-called white people, East Sodomite devils, they constantly plotting and, trying to, set up and trap you with these, with these distractions or whatever it may be, But like I said, the apostles and the elders of Brother Graham and Stone are going to stay the elect, the men Lord, the elect, is going to stay aware and not be distracted by the things of this world, entertainment, because you just don't know what's going to happen. What's going, you got to be, me, myself, first and foremost, you got to be, aware and paying attention with what's really going on around you, within the news and so forth, according to prophecies, because, something major could happen that, one day everything just drastically change, and like I say, people that's not paying attention, and when that time happens, they're gonna be like, I can't believe this is happening, But the only ones that's not going to be caught off guard is, like I say, is the men of the Lord, the apostles, and the elders of Brother Graham and Stone. They had this truth, this wisdom, the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh Shai, this truth, and going to have their spirit, the elect, just the elect, the Israelites going to have their spiritual, spiritual antennas all the way, up and aware, and not be fooled by what these so-called white people, East Sodomite doubles, throw out there, to distract you, try to trap you, catch you off guard, but I'll let your guard down, excuse me. But let go to that word wiles. Say wiles are clever cutting tricks or straight gums. So I'm going to go to the straight gum. It says straight gums. I'm going to go to straight gums.
Stratagems.
No, they're stratagems. Excuse me. I said it wrong. Stratagems. It's a stratagem is clever plan, trick or scheme. Excuse me, trick or scheme designed to deceive an adversary and gain an advantage. These maneuvers are used in warfare, businesses, and daily life, often characterized by surprise, deception, and calculated actions to achieve a specific, a specific goal such as overcoming a stronger enemy or solving complex problems. Let's see. So yeah, so the word a stratagem it's like a clever plan, trick, or scheme designed to deceive adversary and gain advantage. Using in warfare, like I said, this is a spiritual warfare being the truth. Wisdom not a lawyer outside, but I'm gonna get that scripture. But that's the thing to be aware of the trickeries of these devils. What they put out there, the lies and deceptions. You got to read between the lines, especially when they talking. These so-called white people, these Edomite devils, they'll tell you everything's okay and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But they really just lying to you. it could be bad as hell. The situation could be really bad in Iran. Things are happening. People dying and so forth. They just try to keep you saying, keep you calm. It's okay. Go back to, partying bullshit. Go back to eating that bread, eating that food and enjoy the entertainment. Everything is okay. We got it under control. And then, they really don't got it under control, especially now. They think that, they try to, they think they got it under control, but no, the situation gonna get way worse, man. In America, Babylon the Great, it's gonna ramp up, and things is gonna get real chaotic out here, and people they're just distracted by this entertainment, man. Like I said, it's gonna have a lot of people just shocked when things just one day just drastically change, man. Like I said, a cyber attack or something, to where hey, it ain't no point of return. It's going down, But go from there. So then I'm gonna go back to word wiles. Let's see, it was something I want to read. I might be in it. Sure. Oh yeah, I gotta read. Let me read the rest of wiles. So wiles are clever, cunning tricks or stratagems used to deceive, manipulate, or persuade someone. Often used in the plural, they represent deceitful maneuvering or charming enchantments, such as in the phrase "feminine wiles" or "wiles of the devil." They are essentially tricks intended to entrap. So that's what it is, man. You Edomite does, man. They use these enchantments too, man. I say this is a spiritual war. And I say me myself, and I say the ones that believe Lord Yahushua, you want to keep the Lord Yahushua, you want to keep the spirit of Lord Yahushua on you. You want to pray to Lord Yahushua to keep to not take that Holy Spirit away from you. Because you want that protection too. Pray for protection from Lord Yahushua from these spiritual enchantments, spiritual attacks, enchantments, that be put out there, because like I said, it's a spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual warfare too, battle, which I'm gonna get. So that's it on that. But so I won't ramble on too much. So I'm going to go to Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So that's the situation. So for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Who's in power right now? Who is in control of this world, of this system? It's the so-called white people, the Edomites, red devils, they they in control. They, what I'm saying, they, these enchantments, they put out there, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man, That's like I said, this is a spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual battle each and every day. You know, and that's why, and like I said, me myself first and foremost, and those that believe in the Lord Yahweh, those that believe in the Lord in the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, to constantly pray to the Lord Yahweh Shai. Pray without ceasing. Pray to the Lord Yahweh Shai, like I say, keep the Holy Spirit on you, to keep to protect you from spiritual attacks, protect you from these spirits, these bad spirits out here and so forth, because that's the situation, because if you're not, if the Lord Shai, if the spirit of Lord Shai is not on you, you gonna get caught up and distracted, of the things of the world, and the things of this world, material things, what it may be, can take you away from this truth, the wisdom, knowledge of Lord Yahweh, and now you don't have the armor of Lord Yahweh, you don't have this word, because the things of the world, whatever it may be, the money or women, pulled you away from the truth. You stop believing, you stop praying to the Lord Yahweh, so forth. You just turn your back on Lord Yahweh. You didn't, continue to, push His word, His truth, and you stop being in tune to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding the word Lord Yahweh that the apostles and the elders and brother great men don't teach you. You stop reading the word Lord Yahweh. You stop, just being in tune to the wisdom, knowledge, and Lord Yahweh the Spirit, the truth of the word, or of the word of the Lord, and like I say, the things of the world, could take you out, if you're not, spiritually, like I say, in tune to Lord Yahweh, and like I say, it boils down to, like I say, if you the elect, if you're a part of the elect number of the 144,000, the men of the Lord, the 1/3, of that number, you're just gonna be taken by the things of this world, it's gonna, you're gonna, it's gonna, whatever the material things, whatever it may be, it's gonna take you out, it's gonna take you away from the truth, but if you're of the elect, if you're of not the elect, it's gonna, the things of the world gonna take you away from this truth. But if you of the elect, of the, like I say, of the number, you go, the Lord Yahweh is not gonna let that happen, especially if you're sincere, you constantly, you really trust Lord Yahweh, you believe in this truth, you constantly praying, you constantly asking for mercy and deliverance and forgiveness, from to the Lord Yahweh, and praying for for protection in these times, because if you're not spiritually in tune to Lord Yahweh and His word, I say you're gonna be taken away. Like I say that, hey, it's a spiritual warfare. You going straight. You going out. Are you straying out? You straying off the path. And you going, to straying off the path and going to the left. You're going back into the ways of the world. And eventually, like I say, you could be destroyed. Eventually, gonna be destroyed because you turn your back on Lord Yahweh. You stay, steer away from the path. But like I say, if you're the elect, you're gonna be okay. Lord Yahweh gonna have your back. And me myself, first and foremost, hopefully I'm part of the righteous number. To escape the rapid judgment of the Lord Yahweh in these times. But so I'm in off of this. I didn't want to mention to Ephesians 6:13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. So like I see, to have this whole armor, this truth, on you spiritually, and to not get caught up in the things of the world, not be, don't get tricked. But with these so-called white people, Esau, Edomite devils, red devils, who get caught up in their trickery and lies and deception. they put out there or say, and constantly just be aware of what's going on. So you withstand in the evil day, the evil times, the bad times. We in those times. Um, the beginning, you can see, a lot of things are happening, especially, every day something's going on. People out here just losing it. Robbing, stealing, killing right now. It's not an intensified situation, but it's gonna get there. People are gonna start losing it more and more because, like I say, the cost of living and so forth. You know, these jobs ain't hiring. People not getting no money. They not making enough money. Whatever it may be, they losing benefits. So like I said, the only one's gonna withstand the evil day is the elect. The elect is gonna have that. The protection of the Lord Yahushua ain't gonna have the spiritual. I say just gonna be just being spiritually in tune with the Lord Yahushua in these times going forward. And just gonna be gonna be okay. Gonna be protected by the Lord Yahushua. And we will withstand the horrific bad times that's ahead for America, Babylon Great. But the rest of the people of this world, America, Babylon Great, 2/3 Israelites, is not gonna be protected, not gonna have mercy by the Lord Yahushua, and not gonna be delivered by the Lord Yahushua in these times. But they're gonna be destroyed. By the plagues and ultimately Yahushua returns in the chariot, so-called UFO. And the thermonuclear missiles, come raining down America, Babylon the Great, and destroy everything here in America, and burn everything up, But the elect gonna be delivered out of all that, So that's the times that we in here for. It's all about me, myself, first and foremost. Hey, constantly praise the Lord outside to keep the spirit on you, to keep on and to have protection on you, to have the protection on you, to not to not have to fall asleep, to not be taken away by the things of this world, So hope this was edifying. So again, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, to the apostle elders, to the Sisakan brothers, to the Fiakwa sisters that do listen, keep the faith in Yahushua.